The chamber fell silent as the verdict rang out. Commander Elena Hayes stood at attention, her uniform stripped of insignia, her face carved from stone. The Galactic Coalition tribunal loomed above her, 7 species sitting in judgment, their compound eyes and sensory organs all fixed on the human before them. Desertion in the face of the enemy, the Vorath adjudicator announced, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. You abandoned your post at Terminus Ridge. 53 soldiers died because you ran. Elena said nothing. She'd said nothing through the entire trial. Humanity sends us cowards, hissed the Draxian representative. We should never have accepted them into the coalition. The tribunal expected excuses, explanations, pleas. Instead, Elena met their gaze with cold silence. When they stripped her rank and exiled her to station Outwatch 9, a forgotten rock at the galaxy's edge, she simply nodded once and walked out. The message was clear across 1,000 worlds. Humans couldn't be trusted when it mattered most. 6 months passed. Elena ran Outwatch 9 alone, monitoring deep space readings, watching the emptiness between stars. She sent reports no one read and received supply drops that came later each time. The Coalition had forgotten her, just as she'd known they would. Then the sensors screamed. The first attack hit the mining colonies in the Outer Reach. 12 worlds went dark in under an hour. The distress signals painted a picture of overwhelming force, of ships that moved like a swarm, of weapons that turned atmosphere into flame. The Kresh Dominion had arrived. Elena watched the tactical displays as the second wave began. The Coalition scrambled their fleets, but they were scattered, unprepared. The Kresh had chosen their moment perfectly. Within days, 17 more worlds burned. Billions of refugees fled toward the core systems, clogging transit lanes, spreading panic like a virus. The Coalition military was bleeding. Every engagement ended in retreat. Every stand ended in slaughter. The Kresh didn't negotiate, didn't occupy. They simply erased. Elena sat in her command chair, alone in the darkness of Outwatch 9, and watched civilization begin to crumble. Her fingers moved across the console, tracking fleet movements, calculating trajectories, measuring the time until the Kresh reached the heart of Coalition space. On the 8th day, a battered freighter limped into Outwatch 9's docking bay. Elena met the captain at the airlock, a grizzled human named Marcus Webb who looked like he hadn't slept in a week. We've got wounded, he said without preamble. And refugees. 30 people pulled from a station before the Kresh glassed it. Elena helped them offload. Burns, blast injuries, radiation sickness. She worked through the night, her small medical bay overwhelmed. Between treatment cycles, Marcus found her in the supply room. Something weird's happening out there, he said quietly. Beyond the Kresh attacks. Elena's hands stilled on a medical kit. Ships moving through the neutral zones, Marcus continued. Unmarked. Human design, but no transponders, no registrations. I've seen them 3 times now, always heading toward Kresh territory. Like they're staging for something. Elena sealed the kit and stood. How many ships? 12 or more. Maybe twice that. Hard to say. They don't want to be seen. She walked to the nearest console and typed a brief message. The storm is here. Then she encrypted it with a code older than her court-martial and fired it into deep space on a narrow beam. Marcus watched her. What did you just do? Sent a message to ghosts? Elena said. She turned to face him. Tell your people to get some rest. In 48 hours, you need to be gone from here. What's coming? Everything. The Kresh main fleet emerged from jump space like a killing blow. 300 warships, enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. Their target, Sanctum Prime, capital of the Galactic Coalition, home to 8 billion souls. The Coalition threw everything they had into the defense, every available ship, every orbital platform, every last fighter that could fly. It wasn't enough. The Kresh tore through the outer defenses in minutes, their formation perfect, their targeting absolute. On Sanctum Prime's surface, evacuation sirens wailed. Cities descended into chaos. The Coalition Council broadcast final messages to their home worlds, preparing for extinction. Admiral Torvin, commanding the last defensive line, watched his fleet dissolve under Kresh fire. 50 ships reduced to 20, then 10. His flagship shuddered as another salvo struck home. All ships, fall back to... he began. "New contacts," his sensor officer shouted. Multiple jump signatures bearing 270. Torvin's display erupted with indicators, dozens of ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, positioning themselves between the Kresh and Sanctum Prime. Unmarked vessels, angular and aggressive, broadcasting no identification. Human ships. They hit the Kresh fleet like a hammer striking glass. No formation, no predictable tactics, just pure controlled chaos. They dove between Kresh capital ships, launching missiles at point-blank range, cutting through destroyer screens with precision fire. Where Coalition forces had tried to match Kresh power with power, these newcomers fought like predators, exploiting every weakness, turning the Kresh formation against itself. At the center of the attack, one ship burned brighter than the rest, larger, faster, dancing through weapons fire that should have shredded it. A transmission cut through the battle frequency, a voice Torvin recognized from her trial, a voice that should have been light years away in exile. "All Coalition forces, break left and give us room to work. We'll handle this." "Hayes," Torvin breathed. "That's impossible." But it wasn't. Elena Hayes sat in the command chair of a warship that officially didn't exist, surrounded by tactical displays showing 47 other ships that shared the same phantom status. Around her, the bridge crew worked with mechanical efficiency, calling out targets, adjusting vectors, executing maneuvers that would have torn apart any regulation military vessel. These weren't regulation military. They were the Cats, Earth's Black Operations Unit. The soldiers who existed in classified files and whispered rumors, the ones who fought wars before they started, who eliminated threats the public never knew existed, the ones Elena had been building for 3 years. "Target their command carrier," Elena ordered. "All strike teams converge on mark." The Cats moved as one. 15 ships peeled away from the main engagement, burning hard toward the massive Kresh flagship at the fleet center. Point defense fire filled space with deadly light, but the Cats wove through it, their pilots reading the patterns, anticipating the angles. They fired simultaneously. 40 missiles, each carrying a warhead designed specifically for Kresh shielding, struck within a 2-second window. The command carrier's shields collapsed, and the follow-up salvo punched through its hull. The Kresh fleet faltered. Without central coordination, their perfect formation degraded into individual ships making independent decisions. The Cats exploited every hesitation, every gap, turning the Kresh strength into liability. "Commander, Coalition forces are requesting orders," her communications officer reported. "Tell them to focus on the destroyers. We're cutting the head off the snake." Admiral Torvin watched in stunned silence as the battle turned. The mysterious human ships fought with a ferocity and creativity that defied every military doctrine he knew. They used the Kresh own weapons against them, detonating enemy missiles prematurely, redirecting debris into flight paths, creating cascading failures in the enemy formation. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. Within an hour, the Kresh fleet was broken, half destroyed, the rest fleeing back toward dark space, their invasion shattered. The Cats pursued just far enough to ensure the retreat, then regrouped around Sanctum Prime. The Coalition Council convened an emergency session. They demanded answers. They demanded Elena Hayes brought before them immediately. She came, but not as a prisoner. She walked into the council chamber in full combat gear, flanked by 2 Cats operators, and the assembled representatives fell silent. "Explain yourself," the Vorath adjudicator demanded, the same one who'd presided over her court-martial. "Those ships, those forces, where did they come from?" "From humanity," Elena said simply. "From the part of humanity you never wanted to see." She pulled up a holographic display. Intelligence reports, intercepted communications, movement patterns, all dated from 8 months ago, 2 months before Terminus Ridge. "I found evidence of the Kresh invasion," she said. "Complete operational plans, timetables, target lists. I also found evidence of a spy in Coalition command, someone feeding them our defense positions." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Elena continued over them. "I couldn't trust official channels. Couldn't risk warning the Kresh we knew, so I did what humans do best. I went dark. You staged your own court-martial. Admiral Torvin said, understanding dawning. I needed to disappear. Needed everyone to stop watching me. At Terminus Ridge, I didn't desert. I pulled my best people out and started building a force that could operate outside the system. The Cats had been a Black Ops unit for years, but they were small, limited. I expanded them. Recruited the best. Positioned them across the galaxy while everyone thought I was just a disgraced coward rotting in exile. The Draxian representative hissed. You let us believe humanity was weak. You let us mock you. Yes, Elena said without emotion, because you needed to underestimate us. The Kresh needed to underestimate us, and they did. They thought we'd fight by your rules, match their formation with formation, their strength with strength. Instead, we fought like humans. We adapted. We improvised. We did what needed to be done. She turned to face the full council. I sacrificed my honor, my career, everything I'd built, because that was the price of keeping you alive. The Cats are humanity's answer to threats the galaxy doesn't want to acknowledge. We're the ones who fight in the shadows so you can keep your hands clean. Silence filled the chamber. Finally, the Vorath adjudicator spoke. We owe you our lives. Your rank will be restored. Full honors, commendations. No, Elena interrupted. The Cats work best in the dark. The moment you make us official, we lose our edge. First, we'll keep doing what we do, but on our terms. You're refusing reinstatement? I'm choosing to stay dead. It's more useful that way. She turned to leave. Commander Hayes, Admiral Torvin called. What happens now? Elena paused at the doorway. Now? The Kresh will regroup. New threats will emerge. The galaxy will face dangers you can't imagine. And when they come, when everything looks darkest, we'll be there. You won't see us coming. Won't know we're there until it's over. That's what the Cats do. Will we ever know the full truth? Torvin asked quietly. Elena smiled, cold and sharp. Admiral, you've just learned there's a human strike force of 50 ships that doesn't officially exist, led by a commander who's supposed to be in exile. If you think that's the full truth about what humanity keeps hidden, you're not paying attention. She walked out, her operators following. By the time the council thought to stop her, she was gone. 3 days later, Outwatch 9's logs showed Elena Hayes still there, still filing routine reports, still forgotten at the edge of space. The Cats scattered back into the darkness, their ships vanishing into the noise of normal traffic, becoming ghosts again. On Sanctum Prime, children played in parks that almost burned. Leaders rebuilt defenses that almost fell. They spoke of the mysterious saviors, the unmarked ships that appeared from nowhere. Some called them angels. Some called them demons. Those who knew the truth called them by their proper name, humanity's hidden fangs, the pack that hunts in the dark, the price of survival in a hostile galaxy. The Cats were watching. They were always watching. And Elena Hayes, the woman they'd called a coward, the commander they'd court-martialed and exiled, led them from the shadows with the patience of someone who'd already sacrificed everything that mattered. The storm had broken. Pack had fed. Now they waited for the next threat, patient and invisible, ready to strike when the galaxy least expected it, because that's what predators do.